The Horseman's Corner is an original production of Howard Hale Broadcasting, on the air since 1994 with over 7,000 episodes with people involved in the world of horses. Today, the program is hosted and produced by Nelseena Lehmann and Brian Hale. Visit horsemanscorner.com for more, including longer interviews exclusive to the web, full archives, our own equine podcast search engine, made possible by Van Hargis Horsemanship. I'm Howard's son, Brian, and we welcome you to the Horseman's Corner. We'll be back with today's guest right after this.
I'd like to invite you to visit the website that we have for the Horseman. That's horsemanscorner.com. Good place to advertise, good place to go if you're looking for horse information. That's horsemanscorner.com.
Welcome to the last segment of our Horseman's Corner program. On segment 4, we have Toby Tooke. Let's continue.
I don't speak enough about, when this whole Feek's vision. The one thing that I really wish is we would have done it sooner, so I could have had Thelma on it, because she passed away in 2014, and we started this a few years after that, and I always laugh at Thelma because she always said that was Feek's widow. When Grandpa died in '68, Grandma lived by herself across from
my grandma. Yep.
Your grandma. Yep. And they were back and forth across the street. I was back and forth across the street to my best friend's house, and she lived there, and she had that trophy he was holding when he passed away on her living room wall. And she was more than welcoming to when I come over to ask questions about Grandpa and stuff. She was so fun to talk to, and when I asked her about certain things, how much did Grandpa spend on King Largo? I don't know. His horse business was his horse business. I just got dressed up and went to the rodeos and had fun. I mean, she was a character, and she got to travel when Grandpa put on rodeos in Chicago, at the old Chicago Stadium, the same stadium that Michael Jordan won 3 championships in. She got to go to Madison Square Garden, where Grandpa sent horses to Colonel Jim Eskew. I mean, she just got to go along and take it all in, and it just I remember Ernest telling me that he was the one that answered the phone when Feek passed away, and that's the one thing he said. I don't know how I'm going to tell Mom, and I've been blessed to have Thelma and Ernest for those many years to pick their brain about a guy I never knew, and I feel like I know him pretty well, and then even talking to some of the cowboys, like Deb Copenhaver saying, over at the match ride in Dickinson, going up to Casey Tibbs and telling him, Tibbs, that horse made you look like an old woman. Just certain things like that. And Deb, the first time I met Deb, I got tattoos, I had earrings. That was the deal with Grandpa. He goes, if we do this project, you're going to have to do some stuff you don't want to do for the documentary. He said, I'll do it. You take out those stupid earrings. I said, okay, deal done. And the first time I met Deb Copenhaver, again, he's pretty short. He reached up and his hands on each ear, and he goes, what would your grandfather Feek think of these? I said, well, Deb, I said, I've been out fencing, and I got more in my ears than on the post. And he said, kid, you got his humor. And that really meant a ton to me. Even though I was just being a wise guy, it just, it's kind of, like I said, cool to have people that knew him, and they're like, you got that Tooke humor.
I remember my grandparents talking about Feek, and my grandpa said that probably Feek's biggest swear word was re-ride. He said, you didn't get a re-ride on a Tooke horse, because he said if you thought the first one was not good, the second one was really going to eat your lunch.
Yep. And Feek always said that the most important people at a Tooke rodeo were the chute builders, because I've heard of some of those, the older broncs getting run in, and, they have to stand there for a little bit. They would just splinter those chutes. So Grandpa took a lot of pride in his horses, but he was the first one to say, if you made a good ride, he's the first one to shake your hand and say good ride. But if you got dumped, he was going to be the first one there to maybe give you a little poke. So, and I know Ernest, it always irked him because, we put on the rodeos in, Mouse City and Baker and Glendive. And I've got the scorecards in my office from some of those in Glendive where they would do 2 perfs, a Friday, Saturday perf. And I think in the bareback and saddle bronc, both days out of, I don't know if there was 40 total horses out, one guy rode. And Grandpa said, and I'm going to do my best Ernest impression. Grandma said it was okay, but Grandpa, he made fun of me, but Grandpa always said, well, I don't know what those boobs want. My horses threw them all in the dirt, and then we didn't get invited back. So, you know what? I'll just take my horses where guys want to try to ride them and people want to see them. Okay, Ern.
That was Ernest to a T.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I don't know what those boobs want. That sounds like Ernest.
And the same thing when Indian Sign got banned down there in Deadwood, they thought he would go over backwards. That was the big thing with Indian Sign, if he would go over backwards. And that was the one thing Grandpa wanted to see was Casey Tibbs on Indian Sign. Well, Casey broke ribs the night before, so that didn't happen because he drew Indian Sign for the final perf. And but they had banned Indian Sign, and Grandpa pulled the old, well, I don't know what these boobs, that was his word, boobs. I don't know what these boobs want, but we're headed to Sentinel Butte next week, and I'll just bring my milk cows, and they can ride those. So.
Oh, Ernest, that was, what a character. Well, Toby, I can't thank you enough. This is a great interview when you have tears and laughter in the same 45 minutes. That's an excellent day. I will be calling you again when we get Feek's Vision dropped in our lap. It will be a banner day for rodeo and bucking horses and the Tooke legacy and the whole deal. Thank you so much for your time and joining us on the Horseman's Corner.
No problem. Thank you for having me, and you and Kurt take care.
We've produced over 2,500 podcasts during the past year, including the Harvest USA, Daily Ag Markets, the Horseman's Corner, and our fastest-growing podcast, the Cattleman's Corner. This record-setting growth in listenership and, more importantly, downloads means your message could reside permanently on people's computers and phones everywhere when you become a sponsor of these podcasts. Contact us at halemultimedia.com for more information on this opportunity. That's halemultimedia.com.
I'd like to invite you to visit the website that we have for the Horseman. That's horsemanscorner.com. There's a lot of information there, some good horses for sale, some sales that are coming up, and some broadcasts and podcasts that you'll really enjoy and use as a learning tool, because it's a great source for the horseman. Good place to advertise, good place to go if you're looking for horse information. That's horsemanscorner.com.